As an artist who works in ink and other liquid mediums, I often find myself having to decanter my products as they come in assortments of containers not meant to be dipped into by a brush or a pen. Some ink brands choose to sell their inks already packaged in small inkwells. However, this means that should I redip a wet or contaminated brush in the pot, the entirety of the ink supply would be affected. I have been looking for some time for an inkwell that would allow for multiple inks to be decanted and mixed with water. However, most solutions in stores are flat pallets, inconvenient for liquid mediums that need somewhere to pool. Realizing I would have to create my own solution, I decided some way of connecting existing containers from around my house would work effectively as a zero-budget inkwell solution. The marketed and produced Western inkwell only really came into existence come the 17th century, as before this writing was seen as a lowly task and implements for it were not produced or sold. Due to this, scribes often carved their own ink pots and pans from whatever they could find. When writing was taken up by the aristocracy in Europe, it led to the main focus of inkwells being the monetary value rather than the function, though by the end of the 18th century, inkstands were of common use and allowed for more than one inkwell to be stored together. All of this, however, still did not allow for the mixing of various inks or their dilution, as each inkwell in an inkstand was isolated. I found that the best theoretical angle when discussing the Western inkwell is that of sustainability. To appeal to the upper class, inkwells were made of precious metals and decorated with precious stones. This is highly unsustainable as there is a limited amount of rare earth metals and they are better recycled than used as decorative elements. This, combined with the resourcefulness of the scribes from before inkwells were a consumable product, inspired me to rethink my original solution. Most containers in my home already have a purpose and are manufactured goods. To truly embrace the angle of sustainability, I decided to find a solution that used an organic compound that otherwise goes to the garbage or remains unused, hence oyster shells. The idea of combining multiple wells still remains, though the material is changed. I also wanted to stay away from the concept of the ink tray, which combined many isolated wells simply placed together. I decided a stacked approach would best suit my needs and be the most conducive to my ability to mix and dilute inks as I desired. Working with an organic compound, each element would be different, so to finalize my design I had to have my oyster shells washed, debarnacled, and ready to begin to plan my final design. The construction of the oyster inkwell was rather simple, the arduous process being the prepping of the shells themselves. Once I had finalized a stacked position, I used epoxy glue to connect them as desired and let them cure. I also decided to accentuate the existing grooves of the shells by sanding them to create rests for brushes or pens. Having done this, the waterproof seal of the shell was stripped away in some places, which is why I chose to cover the entire product in resin to ensure longevity and ease of use. The inkwell suits my needs for decanting and working with liquid mediums, allowing me to conserve the integrity of my supplies of ink, yet mix them when they are on the inkwell. It also allows me to use however much I choose of each product, and with it being coated in resin, it is completely waterproof and easy to clean. Overall, I am very satisfied with my new inkwell and the versatility it allows me as an artist.